Well, good day, viewers, and welcome to Noel's Garden Tractors and Firewood. And today we have ice on the trees at the moment, and it's melting away now, which is a good thing. But earlier today, all the driveway and both cars and everything was covered in ice from the freezing rain storm we had yesterday. It's not supposed to get real warm today either, so they're saying -4, but I think it's only 0 at the moment, so I can't see it getting up to or I should say not -4, +4 Celsius, yeah. Yeah, it makes you wonder how I make it through the day sometimes. Anyway, yeah, +4 today is supposed to be the high, and I don't think we're going to get there, but you never know. The sun might come out. It's supposed to clear, I guess, but anyway, winter's not over yet, and that's just the way that is. So whether it's +4 or -4, winter's not over. And my driveway is getting reasonably soft here, so that's why I have the garbage can up there. It stays pretty good from the garbage can out, but right about where the garbage can is, there's a soft spot there. I'd say there's a spring underneath that. And then the rest of the driveway down here wasn't done as well as the driveway up there, I would say, and it gets pretty soft down in here. And it's not really too bad, but I've seen some years, holy cats, it's terrible. But I think it's going to dry up quick this year. And the frost will be gone, and I kind of wanted to get into this little shed here today, but as you can see how the ground is up, I can show you, where can I show you? Right across there, you can kind of see a crack in the pavement. So it's pushed up there, and I can't get my doors open on my shed, and that's normal. Anyway, so it's going to take a while yet for the frost to get out of the ground. And tomorrow I think it's supposed to be +10 Celsius. But then back down to the just above 0 and just below 0 temperatures, I think. So today we're back on the chainsaws again today. And today's victim is going to be a Poulan. Yeah, a Poulan. I just want to kind of continue the story on this Red Max here a little bit. I didn't mention yesterday that when I got that saw, it had a 15-inch bar on it. So I ended up, last year I put a 20-inch bar on it, thinking that it might be a little bit easier to cut wood so that I wouldn't have to bend this far, but I don't know if it's really any help or not. One thing it does do is make the saw heavier, so whether you gain or whether you don't, it's hard to say. And a 20-inch bar, well, I only cut stuff that's maybe 12 inches, so I guess in a way I don't really need a 20-inch bar, but I was just thinking for the extra reach without bending myself over trying to reach was my thinking, but whether it really helps or not, I don't know. So this Poulan here that I got for free a couple of years ago, then of course, like anything I get, it works great for the first little while, and then it starts having trouble. So what was the scoop on this one now? So this is a 33 cc 14-inch bar. I put an 18-inch on it, again for the same reason, to maybe help get into the logs without having to bend over so far. And again, like I say, we're only cutting the biggest log that we get. When we buy logs, the biggest log is 12 inches, if that, maybe 11. So you're not using all of the bar anyway, so it doesn't make any difference with the power too much. So and I don't understand the power on these either, because it's 33 cc, but I think it's the same carburetor up to a 40 cc. So I don't see how you would think if it was a bigger engine it would need a bigger carburetor, but it's the same model or part number for carburetors between the 33, 36, and 38 and the 40 cc saws, as far as I can remember. Anyway, that's here nor there. We got to do the same kind of thing to this one today as we did to the Red Max. So I'm not going to show you a whole lot here today, but I'll just do more talking maybe. But when I got this saw, the oil pump was gone in it, and it was basically kind of looking like brand new in amongst wherever I opened up. So I figured that the thing didn't run very long, and then the pump went in it. So I put a new pump in it, and it worked great after that. Then it started having trouble with this. As soon as you let off the trigger for the fuel, it would quit. And of course you're adjusting the needles and the this and the that. And always back and forth trying to get it to work. So anyway, when it was working, it was a great saw. Now I've been having these saws, probably 20 years now. I've been using these saws. I bought a new one probably 20 years ago. And that one kind of, I don't forget now what happened. It had a few problems, but nothing that serious. So then I was going somewhere someday, and I guess I forgot my tailgate in my truck open and driving along, and out went the saw onto the road. So I forget now how I knew that. I think somebody roared and shouted at me or something and said my saw fell out the back. So anyway, I turned around, went back, and saw it was gone, of course. So somebody was pretty quick to gaffle her up. So I bought another one, and it worked great, and it was a dandy saw until Hurricane Fiona, and then I ruined it by overheating it. And it overheated because it takes air in here and blows it across your cylinder to cool it. And then on the other side here, if I wish I had this off so I could show you, but I don't. But anyway, in where the centrifugal clutch is here, if you take that off, there's holes, a whole bunch of row of holes in behind the centrifugal clutch that you can see. That's where the air comes through and cools the clutch, which makes sense. But on that Red Max saw, I couldn't find any holes in it when I took it apart. So I don't know how they cool themselves, or maybe they don't. And like I mentioned yesterday, if somebody knows if some saws have cooled clutches or centrifugal clutches, if they're cooled, and some saws don't have them cooled, or what's up with that anyway. Anyway, it may just be the models, I guess. I don't know. Like I said before, I'm no chainsaw expert, and don't do what I do. Anyway, I'm going to get this apart here and do some cleaning. I got to sharpen the chain. The poor old chain is getting not a whole lot left to it. Anyway, it's good enough. It'll cut. Gotta get what you can out of them. This is basically the backup saw, so that if I am cutting wood at my son's place, where most of the wood cutting is going to be done, and that Red Max over there quits for some reason, then I can bring this one out and continue on. Now, there's some people that don't believe in that system. They only take one saw, and they believe that saw is never going to let them down. Right, Brian? Oh dear. Anyway. Yeah, so anyway, it's just a second saw. And if my son was there, he might use it, and we could use two saws to get things cut up. But anyway, I had great luck with these saws over the years, and for some reason, a lot of people don't like them. And I believe that company, Poulans, were made by or owned by Husqvarna, as far as I hear, but I could be wrong. Anyway, yeah, I'd never. If I could buy a new one of those again, I would, but I don't think they even make them anymore. So there now, I'll get something apart here, and I'll show you some stuff. And I say I'm not going to show you sharpening the thing or whatever, but I'll get it apart and show you a few things inside. All right, we got a few things off here. We got the top off to get at the spark plug, and we got the recoil off to get into there. And that's a little bit of dirt there, but I mean, not too bad for all. No dirt in the cylinder fins, it seems. So I should take a light and look in through there. And that doesn't look too bad there. The air filter gives that a little blow off. My hose might be long enough, I'm thinking today, that I'll see if I can reach out the door there, and maybe that'll keep some of the dirt outside. Not that it makes any difference in here. It's all dirty anyway, but it is kind of nice to try not to get it any worse than it is. All right, well, we'll put the plug up here. So, plug doesn't look too bad, actually. Not too bad. Anyway, one of them torch R7 plugs. I don't know, some people don't like them and some people do, I guess. I don't know, but anyway, that's what's in it. Well, when I got the gas filter out of it, so that doesn't look too bad. And I blew into the hose, and that seems to be holding, so there's no leaks really there, I don't think. So, all right, we'll have a look into the cylinder here. I don't know if you guys can see or not, but I'll put the light in there, and there's the top of the cylinder anyway. I can get to, yeah. So I can't show you everything, I guess, there, but the cylinder wall doesn't look scored up or anything, so I'll have to move the piston down a bit further, but okay, let's see if we can do that. There we can see the exhaust port there now, or I can anyway. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, there you go. That's the exhaust port and the very top of the piston, so everything looks kind of good in there. Now, I got some dirt there I got to get cleared off right around there. And yeah, so I'm going to take it outside and I'll give it a little blow off here. Oh yes, we're going to look through there just to see if we can see anything. Don't see any dirt in there. There's no fins on the back side here, so fins down in there, but you really can't see through. But I can't see anything in them, so fairly clean. Whoops. My hand hit the screen, just very, very lightly edged, hit the screen, and there we are. Off you go. Anyway, I will turn you off again here for now, and I'll get back to you after I get something else done. We got the gear drive, chain drive side off now. So we'll give that a cleaning up, and once you get it all back together, then I'll sharpen it. A little bit of dirt in there, but you know, not too bad. I've seen a lot worse. I don't see anything in there. So that's pretty good. A little bit of dirt down in there. But when I blow all this out, the first time I use it, if you took it all apart again, it would look the same anyway. So cleaning it out's a good thing, but I mean, I don't think it's not something that you have to do every time. I wouldn't think. Just my opinion, I guess. But all right, so I'm going to go in a little further here, and I'm going to see if I can get the centrifugal clutch off, and I'll show you where those holes are. That, as far as I know, blow air from the flywheel through the cylinder through into this area. So I'll get back to you here in a little bit. So something I thought up all of a sudden was to try and figure out a way to save from losing that E-clip that's in on that little cover there, to get that off so you can get the gear off. So I put the rag over it, and sure enough, when it popped out, it just fell into the rag. Just kind of wrapped the rag around it, and there now. I haven't lost it yet anyway. All right, we got the cover off the centrifugal clutch, and I think you can see those holes in there, right there. Right down in there. Now I don't want to tip the camera too much here, because it'll change the video to vertical and then won't go back to horizontal. So now I don't know if I can do it or not, but I think if I let's see now. Not easy to do. There, you can kind of see the lighting under there. I'm moving the flashlight around down by the flywheel there. So you can see light there. So that means, in my mind, that the airflow comes from the flywheel, comes through those holes and cools off the back side of the clutch cover here, or the inside of it, I guess. Cools off the pads, cools off that rotor. There's more holes in there if you can see them. If we can get Yeah, you can see I got the flashlight going again there. And so obviously air comes through past the cylinder and then comes into this area where those holes are. Now the saw that I melted because of me doing Hurricane Fiona wood, a great big birch tree that had at the base I think it was 22 inches. But anyway, she was working pretty hard. Now when I got it apart and I found them holes, which I didn't know were there, they were all plugged. So my thinking is that that is why it melted itself. Now, every day in normal use, cutting up a few branches here and there, it probably would never get hot enough. But the work I was doing with the saw, she was getting hot. And couldn't cool itself through them holes. Now, the other thing is, like I said before, I don't see them kind of holes on that saw. So I don't know how they get cooled or if they get cooled. Do they get cooled or do they not get cooled? That is the question. Anyway, I'm pretty well positive that that's what happens here. They get cooled from those holes there. Anyway, I think that's going to be good for today. I'm going to shut this off here. And then I'm going to do the cleanup. And then I'm going to get it back together and then I'll see if it's running or going to run. And I'll do a separate video of that part. This is probably getting long and I got a lot of cleaning to do here yet. So that's going to be it for today, and so have a great day wherever you're at and whatever you're doing. Goodbye now.